song that's called "En mi opinión," which means "in my opinion." And basically, I gave everybody lyric sheets. Well, not everybody. We have more if somebody wants a lyric sheet after the show. The song basically about is a man singing to another man, or to men in general, about men's problems, that when we're amongst men, we tend to hear all the really crazy comments and the BS that men tend to sometimes talk about. And it's basically also about domestic violence, and there's verbal abuse and then there's actual physical abuse. And I guess when it comes to verbal abuse, even within the punk scene, a lot of us tend to think that, we're above that and beyond that. And I really don't believe we are, because there's a lot of people who are really, I don't know, I guess got really things just don't have them figured out in their own heads, right? But basically, I guess as a man, when I hear, or if anybody in here hears men talking shit, don't be afraid to confront it and ask why, and say, why do you say that? Why do you do that? Don't be afraid they're going to call you a fag or something like that. And as far as domestic violence, I mean, that's just a whole other thing. People start getting physical, and it's a really scary thing. And I know everybody in this room knows someone or will know somebody. If you haven't by now, you will run across somebody who has been physically abused. And I guess when it happens in the house, in the home, and when your own home becomes an unsafe place, that can be a really scary thing. So I just know from what has happened to family members of mine and a sister of mine, and I know what she experienced, and it's not good. So this song's called "En mi opinión," it's in my opinion. And thanks for waiting. Yeah.
In my bag, yeah.
Alright, broke a string, great. Okay, well, we will try to stall as much as we possibly can throughout this show, okay? Let's see, okay. We're gonna do Note de Bonera, okay. Note de Bonera will be the next song, so I'm going to talk a bit about what this song is about while he changes his string, okay? Note de Bonera means I don't owe you anything. Also means kind of like I don't owe you shit, right? What we've been witnessing lately in this country for the past couple of years, and recently more than any other time, is we're really, our community, the Latin American community, or should I say immigrant community, is really facing a lot of really crazy things. And there are people like in California and many other parts of the country now who are trying to pass laws to get rid of the immigrants because of whatever economic problems and all that. They make up all excuses all the time. It's kind of crazy, but I think when we talk about immigrants, I really hope that people would really look at the word immigrant and really think hard about it, because to me personally, immigrant is anyone who is non-native, who has come from somewhere else. And if we were to look maybe into the history of this country, or the present of this country, majority of people are immigrants. As a matter of fact, America was built on immigrants, by immigrants, on immigrants' backs, right? And But nowadays, like what's happening in California with this whole 187 thing, and it's happening everywhere, it's not just California. In Chicago, before we left, read an article that said since February there have been 800 deportations in Chicago alone. And the thing is that they use immigrant in a weird way when what they really mean, I think, because when you look at Chicago, there's immigrants from Ireland, from Poland, from all over the world, right? But when they go into a factory to raid it and to catch people for being immigrant or being illegally here, illegal immigrants, they kind of have already an idea of the immigrant they're looking for, and it's usually a dark-skinned person that they go chasing after. And that's just the reality of it. And what happens is that, I mean, it's a scary thing. I mean, imagine you're working just trying to survive, right? And they just pick you up and take you away, you know? And it happens all the time. I hear stories of it happening like in Atlanta. I hear stories of it happening everywhere. Somebody told me recently about some organization in Alabama called PAW, Protect America's Workers. And these people have taken it upon themselves to gather up these illegal immigrants working in fields and stuff and taking them away and stuff like that. I don't know, it's a tough thing. But just when they do talk about immigrants, be sure that you really look into that and see who it is exactly they're targeting this whole thing at, and who is 187 really targeted against. And I think the problem is that, like, Pete Wilson doesn't want to just fess up and say he's a racist and hates Mexicans. I mean, when the whole earthquake happened about, what was it, a year or two ago? You know, they said, well, what are you going to do about all these people who need aid? One of his comments was that the aid we're going to give these people is bus them back to Mexico. That's what he said. And I don't know, I guess if you really look into the thing, you can clearly see what's happening. This song is called No Te Debo Nada, I Don't Owe You Shit. And it basically is going to people like Pete Wilson who think that the immigrants owe them every drop of sweat and blood, that, you know, every drop of sweat that we work for is like we owe it to the American government or something because they're doing us this humongous favor, right? But whatever. It's basically that. I don't owe you anything. The new songs we're doing tonight are going to come out in a couple of weeks. It'll be a split LP with Spit Boys, so it'll be available really soon, and it'll be everywhere, so whatever. The next song we're going to do is Lengua Armada. Lengua Armada means armed tongue. This song came off a compilation that we put together called History of Compassion and Justice. And basically, for whoever doesn't know what that's about, that's a quote that Bill Clinton said a while ago. He said, "We will not surrender our borders." This is about immigration. It was in Time magazine, I believe it was. And he said, "We will not surrender our borders to those who wish to exploit our history of compassion and justice." Really questionable, huh? Yeah, I thought about that. I thought, fuck, I can't believe this clown said that. The same clown who, when in his inauguration, had a whole parade of Native Americans welcoming to office, right? Our history of compassion and justice. Who can we ask about the history of compassion and justice? Should we ask African Americans? Should we ask Latin Americans? Should we ask Irish immigrants when they first came? You know? Should we ask the natives? Who? History of compassion. Should we ask all the women? Think about it. History of gays, lesbians, really? Who do we talk to about that? And let's find out how compassionate and how just the history is here. I mean, really anywhere, actually, if you think about it. This song, Lengua Armada, means armed tongues, and it's about words, and it's about the power of them, and the way you can use them. And the words have all sorts of effects on people. I know, I talked about a bit about this the other day, about a particular man. How many people know of the band Jara here? Jara. Okay, do you know where that name comes from? Victor Jara. He was a man from Chile, okay? He was a man from Chile who was a folk singer, a writer, okay, a poet. When Chile went through their military dictatorship and they were rounding up people, they put him in a stadium full of people, okay, that got captured. And they basically, I guess, because of his words and the power of them and the way it moved people, the military asked him to start singing for the crowd. And as he sang, they literally started fucking torturing him. And they totally mutilated him and tore his tongue and everything. But I mean, that happened to a lot of people, and it keeps on happening. But I guess the important thing is that people like Victor Jara, their words and things they talked about still remain with a lot of us. And they can kill people all the time, the people will come and go, but the thing is that the power of the words and the impact they had on a lot of people still remains, and I think that's what's important, because we can't forget about what happens to these people. That's a vital part of who we are and what our history is and what our present is. This song's about the power of words and the way you use them. Lengua Armada. Let's go. Okay, this is the first time we're playing North Carolina. I don't know how many people have seen us before or not, but since it is the first time we're here, and I'm sure a lot of people have never seen us before, I'll let you in, I'll clue you in on something. We talk a lot. And, no, I know it bothers some people sometimes where we go certain places, but we really don't care, because, no, I'm serious, because I really feel, for me, this whole movement of punk is very important to us, and this is our punk, so we kind of do with what we want with our punk, and what we choose to do is express to people what it is we're about, instead of coming up here and fucking rocking and rolling for everybody and doing our shit, right? because a lot of bands tend to do that sometimes. And it's really important that we let you know where we're coming from and what we're about, and what our songs are about. Because we can get up here and just do it, and you're never going to know what the hell we're saying, because we do it in Spanish, and it's hardcore #2. So the next song that we'll do is what will we do?
Peleamos.
Let's do Nada Cambia. Nada cambia hasta que lo hagamos cambiar. Nothing changes until we make it change. And it's about each and every one of us in this room taking the responsibility upon ourselves to become more active and taking action, right? Because we hear excuses all the time, left and right, punks going, I'm only one person, I can't fucking do anything. Well, we hear that like thousands of times. And the energy that the punk scene, energy and money that the punk scene can generate is fucking incredible. And the only thing is that not enough people are putting it into good use, right? And not helping out enough. So it gets to be pretty frustrating and pathetic sometimes when I guess punks are always copping out and making excuses for why not to get involved instead of just doing it, right? This song is about that. Nothing changes until we make it change, until you, until I, until every one of us, right? Yeah. It's off the Manumission song. Manumission split. Nada cambia.
Yeah.
No me vengan a salvar. This is another new one called Don't Come Save Us. No me vengan a salvar. And I'll tell you what it's about basically. In our community, sometimes we have certain organizations, certain church groups that come and promise people and promise poor people the answer to every problem they've ever had. And
I'm running out of battery.
I guess that just gets us a little pissed off, and it gets me a little pissed off that people sometimes fall for it. But worse than that is people who actually offer these like saving answers, and there really isn't one answer to anything, right? And well, I guess all I could say is that some people just don't really have much of an outlook on things and don't really have a way out, I guess you can say. But we really are pro-independence. We really believe in being as self-sufficient as possible. And it means not taking any fucking handouts from the government. And it means not fucking, just being independent as much as you can possibly be. And basically our thing is that no one will save us unless we want to save ourselves. And that's kind of how I look at it, right? And that's what this song is about. No muy rápido, ¿tá? Basically, this song has to do with a lot of things we've been talking talking about. It's about struggle, okay? It's about the people, everyday people, who just are trying to get by, you know? Trying to make it. It doesn't help at all that there's always obstacles put in their way.